to Talking Bottom. This week we are going to be discussing the episode Apocalypse.
Fourth one, yeah?
Fourth episode, series 1. Hi guys, I'm Angela Johnson.
I'm Matt Brooks.
And I'm Paul Tanter.
We're three bottom fans that have got nothing better to do than to get together every week and talk about a sitcom that hasn't been on TV for fucking years. This episode of Apocalypse is the first episode I ever saw in its entirety. I caught a bit of gas. I caught a little bit of gas on the TV randomly, but it was this episode that was shown to me by my friend Martin when I was growing up, and he actually had to bribe me to watching it, essentially. Like, he's like, I've got this thing, you need to watch it. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. When you're around people's houses and stuff and you kind of run out of things to do, and it's like, well, okay, right, well, if we do this, then you have to do what I want, and what I want is to watch this episode of Bottom. I'm like,
What was
okay.
the thing that enticed you into his bottom then? What was the...
Wank him off?
what was the tip for that?
His consistent
just
moaning.
Just kiss the tip.
I don't know. It would probably play a ball game or something suitable for a child, and then
and then an
episode of Bottom, which is we've said this before. It's so good for kids. It's not appropriate for kids, but it's the perfect age, I think, when you realise it's a little bit naughty watching this.
Yeah, but it's hilarious, and that's what's brilliant about it. But I honestly think if I ever have kids and they don't like this show, I'll
put them back.
To have them adopted. I actually genuinely feel that way. If they didn't like Rick Mayall and the comedy, like, they wouldn't be my children.
Will you ever meet anyone who doesn't like Bottom? And I find like just you can't be trusted then.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not right. There's a thing that it's a bit crude, isn't it? Like, you didn't get it. You're not smart enough.
It's too slapstick.
It's
just slapstick, and then you give them a slap because that's incorrect. But anyway, we know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anyone listening probably also agrees with us.
Strong, tight start to the episode, I think.
Strong, tight.
I really thought you were going to say vaginas then.
A nice, strong and tight.
That's not
Brilliant.
how I remember the opening shot. So the opening shot is, of course, fantastic in this episode. The dead goldfish.
Yep, with a nice murky water that's been floating in.
Do we think that they killed Elvis, or did he die of natural causes? Because
they
the gag
killed
is
him.
we had to kill him to give us something for a tea.
I think they
they killed him.
Well, he probably...
Why else would he say it?
That water looks so fucking murky.
Yeah. Maybe they're making the best of the situation that they've been presented with. Like,
We've never
it's
seen
died.
Elvis before. Maybe they've actually...
Maybe they bought a fish to kill
Maybe they stole him.
Well, no, maybe they want him at the fair. The fair's in town.
The fair is in town. Absolutely. It's this episode that they go to the fair first.
Actually, should we do the plot?
Yes, we should.
For the key listeners out there?
So this one's called Bottom Apocalypse. First of all, I want to say that does sound like a disease or something. It sounds like some sort of diarrhea, isn't it? But I've got Bottom Apocalypse.
I've had Bottom Apocalypse on occasion,
And what a great word. I think this
Apocalypse,
show taught me what the word apocalypse was, probably. And the gunman of the apocalypse in Red Dwarf, for any Red Dwarf fans listening.
So the plot for Apocalypse is thus. After inheriting £600 from Richie's auntie Olga, the two decide to spend it down the funfair, where Richie learns that he is destined to die in 3 nights' time. He goes to the lengths of kicking Eddie out to escape his fate, but he can't do anything when the Grim Reaper comes knocking.
Oh, that goes a bit too far into the story with the synopsis there, doesn't it? And then Carni guy turns up at the end and it's all a miss. What was that, man?
Carni guy? Don't you mean thieving bastard Yippo?
No, Yobbo.
Yobbo. The censorship.
Sure. That bit, Richie does call them all out. He was like, this thieving bastard Yobbos. Which is the dub. Yeah, it's originally Thieving Bastard Jippos. You notice it, watch it on any of the DVDs or iTunes things. On the VHS, it's the original. And also there's a siren that goes past. Other time he does say Jippos again.
Yeah, he doesn't say Jippos again. So he does
say gypsies, or what does he say?
He says thieving bastard Jippos, which gets changed to Yobbos.
Yeah.
And then his next line is, I know what you gypsies get up to when the lights go out. And that has a rising kind of klaxon sound you would ascribe to one of the rides in the fairground.
Now that we're talking about it, what do you feel about the decision by the BBC to insist on
redubbing?
Dubbing over the word.
It's odd, isn't it? That reminds me of The Young Ones, when there's a couple of quite racist jokes. Well, the one I'm thinking of is in the episode of Boring, when there's a guy who's from Kellogg's Cornflakes car competition ringing the bell, and then a policeman comes over with dark glasses and mistakenly thinks he's black. So then he starts out with horrendous abuse, like the C word. No, not cunt, the C-O-O-N. He calls him. Spelling, it's not racist, that's fine.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
of course,
The-
language has evolved and changed. And I think I would argue that Richie is the way he is, and therefore him saying a word like jippos is just believable because it's Richie and it's showing up his prejudices.
I think that's the closest we get to seeing him being racist.
I know that's what people say about the likes of Alf Garnett and all those sorts of, and it shouldn't excuse it. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to offend any travellers listening because I can see where it is actually. It's a slur on race, isn't it? But
it is.
Like Miss China in the episode last week.
I suppose.
Like, why would they not dub out that? That's offensive to Chinese people, isn't it?
That's
You know, if you really get into it, like you'd have to censor so much comedy.
Yeah.
But Rick obviously agreed. Otherwise, why else would he have agreed to actually record the word yobbo?
It doesn't change the joke enough, I suppose. So he's like, oh, fine.
He might contractually have been obliged to by the BBC. That there may have been something in there that says if we need you to dub in something, then you'll do it. What they can't control is how you do it. So when he does say yobbos, it sounds so different to the original delivery.
That's the problem I have with it. I think if it was a very convincing dub, I wouldn't really mind.
So I think sometimes actors, when they don't agree with what they're dubbing, they'll deliberately give a different or bad performance because they want to let people know, I didn't want to do this, I don't agree with it. Harrison Ford gave a shit voiceover for Blade Runner on purpose because he didn't want it to be used. And now in the preferred version it's not used. So I wonder if Rick did a kind of similar thing with this.
We're skipping.
The way he says yobbos is fairly convincing, isn't it? It's actually just the sound quality of the dub doesn't match the sound of the...
But
we've skipped well ahead.
But we just wanted to... That's the top sort of thing in that episode that I think you noticed on the rewatch when you've got the DVD, isn't it? If you'd had the VHS or you taped it off the telly... I really noticed it when I first watched this episode again.
I will say that that word is used by Richie deliberately because it's the strongest counterpoint to what he was literally just saying. So the joke is, of course, that he's saying legendary campfire hospitality and I love you guys. Yeah. And then the moment he knows he's been robbed, he switches entirely to the other
what he's really like.
Which is what Richie does so often in arguments and everything. He's trying to suck up to them and make that small talk, and it's what a lot of British people do.
Yeah, he's quite cowardly, isn't he, Richie? Yeah. He will always side with attacker, essentially. Like calling him sir.
It's interesting that he starts shouting and bawling and calling them all. I mean, I would have actually thought saying you're like slippery, deformed half brothers is more offensive in many ways, but they leave that in.
Yeah, sure.
This episode is to me the one that I saw the most growing up and watched the most because it was on the first bottom video I got, and it was the first episode on the first bottom video I got. So that was the one that got the most views.
So this is the second volume of Series 1, isn't
Correct.
it? So the second half.
For some reason, I didn't get the first volume before the second one.
Sure.
So this was the one that I constantly watched. So the image of Elvis being poked into his water is one that I always remember very well. Opens with them, their classic situation. What do they need? Money. Yeah. They're desperate for money.
They make it sound like they have to eat the fish, but then it's revealed they're doing that as a pretense to try and get money off of Richie's.
I think they're genuinely planning on serving it up to Auntie
I think they are.
To show her that that's all the food.
Eddie wants the head, doesn't he?
They do say that it's sort of, they put the rest of the food in the house in the system.
Yes, the system, right. Does that mean the toilet?
Yeah,
the toilet. What? How the fuck does that work? He's hidden food in the system, frozen it and put it in the...
If you do what drug dealers do, or what Richie does later on with a 20p bid, which is you seal it in plastic and wrap it in cellophane, and then you put it in there, and it's a place that like drug dealers hide drugs and guns.
It's just not an obvious place to look.
Correct.
Obviously,
because it's filled with water. So.
And right near where you shit.
Not exactly nice water either, but that's what's brilliant, isn't it? They've decided, right, this is again, like with contests, there's a scheme, isn't there? It's all trying to get some money.
We'll make the house look like there's no food in it whatsoever and fill it with bills that will scatter around the place, so wherever you look you'll see them. But not only that, we'll sprinkle the place with water so it looks like we've been crying everywhere.
What the fuck, the mentality of that. Think about that. Like if you just went into someone's house, there's water play, look up, they're depressed.
So childish. I mean, you almost think that he was probably going to do it on his face as well before they arrived. I guess so. But then, obviously, she's not even imminently arriving because he's got time to give her a ring, of course.
So
remind her to bring her checkbook.
With a reverse charges call.
Yes, that's funny. The way he delivers that reverse charge, so proud of himself.
Brilliant that he's obviously, again, it just ties into they've got no money, so he's going to have to... But it sounds like he's done it before.
Yeah. Got bills, they've got poll tax, they've got rent. And it's the thing, like rent... why do they have rent when it's his auntie's flat?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's one that doesn't really make sense.
You do wonder, though, maybe his aunt owns it and she's got a landlord in place to look after it.
Yeah, I guess so.
There,
and so Eddie pays Richie rent and Richie pays everyone else rent.
Yeah,
but
he's probably got a lower rent because it's
suppose
his auntie's, but they could be obliged to make some sort of payment.
I wonder what the rent is on that place, because it's in Hammersmith, but in the
now.
90s.
It'll be relatively cheap.
That's
I suppose so.
What would it be now?
And a shithole.
Hammersmith was, it wasn't that great back then. Do you think their gas bill was unexpected that had just plopped onto the mat recently?
Oh yeah, maybe. Like, okay, well, you've not been paying enough for your gas the last few. I'm gonna let you off the criminal charges as long as you have to pay the rest of this.
Also, it looks here like someone's been electrocuted recently through the mains, so that's why your electricity bill's quite high as well.
But mentioning poll tax as well, again, kind of like...
So that's a bit of a dig at the Tories, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And the
that was Thatcher, wasn't it? Poll tax?
Poll tax was Thatcher, yeah. Did anyone find the way he delivers those lines, talking about it, quite poetic? It's the way, it's like, we got gas bills, we got electric bills, we got poll tax, we got rent. It kind of like has this rhythm to it.
There's a manicness to it, isn't there? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a list thing, isn't it? But it's not like, it's so funny because it's such a long list. You're right, like the way Rick delivers it, and it's got a rhythm to it, hasn't it? It's just sort of really quite satisfying to list off.
Which I also hear in when he goes daft old cow, but a bunch of bananas last time. It's it's I don't know. It's just the way that Rick Mel delivers it.
It's the alliteration, isn't it? Of the
so
many bees.
Daft old cow, but a bunch of bananas. Yeah. It would be him and Rowan Atkinson are the ones who'd want to be doing
it's
that.
the rhythm of the delivery. Like, I've seen some footage of Rowan Atkinson on one of the Blackaders. Says the line perfectly, but it's like, nope, not right.
Oh, really?
And it's like, it's all about the delivery. It's so important in these shows.
And then how wonderful is it that the ploy is to have Eddie there, not only because she loves animals, but also the priming him for what he needs to say.
Sad orphan. Now, technically you can be an orphan as an adult, but I always think that's weird if someone says that. It's like, both my parents have died.
It's totally ludicrous that would be what would tug on our heartstrings, isn't it?
My parents died when I was 30, so I'm now an orphan.
Yeah.
But that's what they're thinking can make someone give you some money,
but
begging.
How typical of each of them that Richie's plan is to use Eddie in some kind of con. Eddie's idea is, come on, let's just mug her.
Yeah.
And then pulls out a truncheon.
Oh, that truncheon looks shit, doesn't it? That looks like something from the seaside town thing.
It's like something from a joke shop. Yeah.
Really
it's quite worrying that he's just got it about his person. Really. Let's just
if that doesn't break her heart, then this will. Like, what, you're going to punch it into her chest?
And that's where it's quite horrendous, because obviously a lot of the violence is on each other, isn't it? But they're starting to sort of say, they will beat up the gas man, they will beat up an old woman.
Let's
who's not only just an old woman, but it's Richie's aunt.
I really wish we'd have got to see some of this character of the aunt, because from what we hear, she has a chauffeur and an elderly servant, Mrs. Higginbottom, who's got a Zimmer frame, so that's funny. But obviously, I think this is beginnings of Richie's obsession with class and
yeah, that's it, and that's where you know that Richie's obviously been brought up perhaps by his aunties, because again later on we're jumping forward, but there's that hint of, I wonder whatever happened to my mum. So you immediately think that perhaps his mum's sisters are Olga and Mabel, and their nephew has been left abandoned. She's done a moonlight flip maybe to another country or something, and left Richie helpless.
So his dad's German, isn't that right?
Oh yeah, later on
that's much later.
They give a bit more of a backstory, don't they, to Richie?
So Richie's here, bereft of money, all these bills piling up, yet he comes from a family that apparently has servants and chauffeurs.
Yeah, but they're quite tight enough to keep the same servant on when she's now using a Zimmer frame.
But still, they still have a servant.
Yeah, still servant. It's for comedic effect. But I remember what I saw when I was 4 years old with you, the chauffeur, and the bucket of fish. Oh my, that is so odd.
Is that why Richie's so very perverted now?
Yeah, maybe. 4 years old, like I see. Inanimate objects, that's what you use for sex. Yeah. So it's very quickly revealed that Richie's aunt has in fact died. Richie's like, oh my god, really upset for a split second before he's like, oh, hello, you see his face turn sinister, like that means they haven't read the will yet. Aha.
Not only have they not read the will, but there's gold teeth to be had as well.
I love that I've got first dibs on them.
Yes, hands off them.
I know it's for comedy effect, but who carries their last will and testament on them?
then.
Search the body then. Oh. Have you got it? Right, sure. Looking at the desk, not there. Search the body then. Oh, well, it's there. Yeah. Okay, what does it say?
I was in W.H. Smith, saw some like weird gifts for people, and one was a do-it-yourself last will and testament, and I fucking burst out laughing watching it. You imagine giving it to someone's present? You're turning 60. Here you go. What the fuck is it? So don't forget to include me.
You may as well just get them a card saying please die soon.
Yeah, bloody
you old cunt.
But you do get the feeling that Richie's aunt isn't that nice a woman.
Well, he does say, "Oh, Auntie Olga, it's dead at last."
Yeah. So there's obviously no affection there from her to him either, really.
So how much is he? He's left £600 in the will, which so this is
fantastic.
A good 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So a little bit more money back then. Still not that.
You think she's got a chauffeur and a servant?
Yeah, it's not really that much, and it's like he's so fucking happy with that. And that's but. One thing I do like is that he's generous with his money at the beginning. He's taking Eddie out somewhere. And he's like, I'll get this.
The first place they go is to the funfair.
The funfair shooting thing. And then it's like, this is fantastic news. We're so on top of the world. And then Eddie's rung up a bill of 45 quid. It's like, we've only got 600. So that's quite a large portion of it gone right away. Really, it doesn't last, obviously.
That's what's great is that just visual gag of Richie kind of like holding his wallet aloft.
Right, yes.
300 quid.
And you see him
goes to the funfair. May as well say to everyone, "Please rob me. Sure. I've got all this money here in my wallet, and the rest is safe and sound back at home on top of the bathroom cabinet where no one will ever find it."
But
obviously that's for the plot set
absolutely.
Up, but it's just wonderful. I always love the way that his wallet is like a
bulging
bending one, isn't it? But he's got it like open, obviously, so that whoever's behind him can actually swipe it. I've always thought, and obviously lock it quite easily. I don't know.
So the guy that's running the shooting stand thing, you owe me 45 quid so far. What carnival lets you shoot guns and play the game before you pay the money?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
No one. It's not what they're like. That's stupid.
Also, what carnival lets you shoot out their bulbs and their prizes? Get the little duck.
Get the little ducks. Like, right,
Again, I'd say standout kind of sound effects there is the gunfire.
The gunfire and the noises the toys are making as they get hit. Yeah.
The fun fair. They obviously know that it's in the heart of all Britishness, isn't it? To have like the travelling fun fair.
Yeah. That's a very British thing, isn't it? Well, I suppose they do have like carnival and stuff in America, but it can't be the same. I wonder if they did have the goldfish that you win. It's just a weird prize, isn't it?
I think, and I could be wrong here, but I think when they have the carnival in America, it's more like a circus. It's about performance, and it's less about stalls and prizes.
Well, a little bit. They do have that Simpsons episode where there's the carnival workers that they end up grifting. And he gets it's a similar sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's just so rubbish, isn't it, really, to go down, and then the ghost train. The set build for this episode is actually quite extravagant compared to the first three.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a couple of jokes which blink and you miss them. The fortune teller, there's a sign on it that says Brenda the Ball Gazer.
Oh, does it say that? I don't remember that.
The Ball Gazer. Like, that's what split second. That's funny. They take refuge in Brenda the Ball Gazer's stall, stand, whatever.
Gypsy's tent.
Gypsy's tent, yeah. Right, the bit I never got this joke. How's it look out there, Eddie? So on a scale of 1 to 10, it's bicycle clip time. What's that mean? We've got to run off.
That's at the bottom of your trousers.
You're shitting. Oh, bicycle clip.
You're shitting and pissing yourself.
Bicycle clip will keep it all in.
Keeps your trousers together at the bottom. You're riding a bike, but obviously if you're shitting your pants, then that would keep it in.
And that's the main thing. It's like your trousers look bloated and very uncomfortable. Well,
but that's because I shat myself earlier and I'm wearing bicycle clips.
Yeah. I mean, massive shout out, I think, to the guest star of Liz Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, she's always been good, isn't she?
She's in so many really great sitcoms, isn't she?
So let's list some of them. Royal Family.
Obviously, the Royal Family.
She was in The Queen's Nose. Did everyone watch that?
Oh, yeah.
I really like that.
I'm done at Royal Family.
All right.
Yeah, in terms of brilliant sitcoms and bottom.
Adrian Mole's grandmother as well, I believe.
But she did a lot, I think, of obviously theatre work. She was a very well-trained, very established actress.
I wonder how many roles was a nan of someone.
Yeah.
Well, in her later
She's
years.
such a fucking nan, isn't she?
Yeah. For some reason, in her younger years, she didn't get the nan roles very often.
No, we don't know her in anything in terms of the comedies at that point. But no, I always loved her as a wonderful cameo in that. I didn't even know who she was when I first watched it. But just the way she is, just a bit sort of like wizened and hunched.
Yeah.
That grin that she has.
She's got her. She plays it at two levels, doesn't she? The character is playing a character as well because she drops the facade and is like, oh, for 5p. It's gonna look pretty bleak.
And if she is called Brenda, I mean, that's not a name of a genuine Romany gypsy, is it?
No.
Brenda Olga. And I've always just loved that little set as well, just like the really crap lamp that's hanging over the top of them, and like she just looks absolutely ludicrous in her like garb. I love how Richie goes from thinking it's complete and utter bollocks and having a go at her about, have you got a license, what you do, and all that, and then she says one thing and he's completely convinced in her powers.
Oh my goodness.
To being taken in by her giving details of things that are in his wallet that he's just lost.
I mean, I was fucking 10 years old. In fact, well, it's got his wallet, isn't it? Straight away. No, it's absolutely obvious.
But that's what's wonderful about being the audience, isn't it? And knowing that Richie and Eddie are the fools and we're in on the gag.
So his driving licence is crossed out with Richard VC. What does VC stand
Victoria Cross.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's obviously a bravery.
He's been awarded that.
Sir as well.
Yeah, Sir Richard
Richard VC, yeah, obviously. Sir Richard.
Absolutely wonderful gag. And then, did anyone else know what dropsy is?
So it's some kind of disease, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Was it something like gout?
It's like a really old-fashioned disease, I think.
Linking back to it sounds fun. It's a good dropsy.
It's a great word,
I think I had to ask at the time what it was. And I still didn't remember what it was. Yeah.
No, not really. But it's just wonderful, isn't it? Because it could have been anything that he said. He could have said syphilis or anything, but dropsy.
Phonetically, it's funny. It's like leprosy. Or what wouldn't be funny is just like cancer. You know.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, nothing like that would be funny. Cancer. But it's just a great little gag in there. And then obviously she's got the better of him. Yeah. She knows everything about him. Even notice that his watch is broken.
Yeah. Well, she's a genius. Noticing a watch is broken.
Right. Either after she's stolen his wallet or after someone has stolen it and passed it to her, she then gets his last bit of money, which is 5p, and gets him to hand over his watch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well staggering when she's just seen his wallet. And now they're going to do even worse to him. Yeah. They're going to tell him that he's got a curse hanging over his head.
Oh, yeah.
It's viciously nasty, really.
Like, you're going to die.
I was sort of that's revenge for him not paying her enough, but, they have had 300 quid out of him. So, that's needless. They
did just shoot one of their, probably nephews or whatever.
Oh, yeah, one of their inbred half-brothers.
But what I do, if she's in on it, like, why is she... Is it all part of the ploy to keep them in there? Because they think they're escaping, don't they? But actually, it's like, what we're going to do here is give you a curse.
I think that if she stole his wallet, she then retired to her tent, and then all the stuff with the eye shooting happened, and she wasn't aware of it. So they've run inside, and she just thinks, there's two
It's got to be her that's stolen it, because I always thought it's some way network,
isn't it? And then they've passed it to her.
Maybe. That's a common trick, isn't it? Like, they'll pickpocket and then hand it over to someone, and then
with those people.
No, pickpockets. Like, I've seen it happen on the street in Rome.
With the phone, like they shove him and they pass it over into
someone else. You chase the wrong person, and stuff. So maybe it's that. Because I didn't just thinking about it. I always thought that it was kind of a weird network of them. That somehow she's had this information fed to her, but how the fuck would that happen that quickly? So she has to be in possession of it.
She's been given it, perhaps without the money in it.
Tell me more, old bag. That's what a callback to before, isn't it?
Call me wrong if you will, but I thought one of the biggest things that any fortune teller should never do is tell you that you're going to die.
But she's a con woman.
That's what I mean. But that is sort of breaking the one rule that they're not ever meant to do, because Richie's just so vile. Yeah.
And he deserves it. Why is that the one rule?
I think it's one rule for any fortune teller, is that if it did come up in the cards, that you're not meant to tell someone that they've seen you, because that's just awful, isn't it? To be like, we think you're going to die next week.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Batman rather than fortune tellers? They've just got one rule.
They've got one rule.
But they're going to have to break that rule.
I don't think there's any ethics in fortune telling. In the con artistry of fortune telling, I don't think there's a single bit of ethics between the group.
I don't think they would ever tell you that you're going to die.
Well, but they don't know you're going to die because it's all utter bullshit.
No, that's what they would never tell you that. Because why would you tell someone that you think that's what's going to happen to them? But obviously she's putting a curse on him.
I know someone that was engaged to a lady, and the lady went to visit a fortune teller, and she was like, well, you're not with the right guy. And so she broke up with him. And that's the thing, is so my mate was like, well, fair enough. If that's what's going to make you go up, good riddance. What an idiot.
Probably wasn't with the right person.
You're gullible enough for that. Goodbye.
And yet, weirdly, if a fortune teller told someone they were going to die, that would probably be the one accurate thing that they had said to them, because everyone's going to die.
Yeah, sure.
Eventually, yes.
Before the moon rises 3 times.
So the events that led to them running into the tent, Eddie shooting the guy in the eye, is that the first instance that we've seen in the show so far of them inflicting violence on someone that wasn't each other?
No, the gas man.
Oh, God, of course, yeah.
Idiots.
The violence not on each other in this episode is quite fun, isn't it? Well, I don't know if you think being shot in the eye is more fun than trying to batter
He turns out alright. Gets his eye sorted out at the end. Right, so the next scene, they go to a pre-built storage set from the BBC of a hospital, a generic hospital.
Is it from Casualty? Genuine than
Okay. Richie barges his way to the front of the line, which is quite funny.
Barges past a few people and then does the best push on the very last person, the person who's at the front.
Double-handed push, isn't it?
Yeah, who I think is on crutches.
Yeah.
And I really hope they had a crash mat down for that person, because he goes down at speed.
Brilliant. And then, so it's the actress who played Lady Natasha
Helen Lederer.
Yeah.
Helen Lederer, yes. This is her first appearance in Bottom.
There's a joke that's quite timely now, even when she's saying, well, have you got an appointment? Well, why didn't you have an appointment? Because I didn't know I was going to be ill. That was the state of the NHS then, 30 years ago. There's first reference to the Falklands as well. He mentions, I hurt my leg in the Falklands, and that's I hurt my leg.
And then the great, he tripped over the table trying to do sides.
From that guy. That's
like turning off the news as well.
But his anger makes him yell so loudly that he disturbs the very important open heart surgery that's happening right next to reception behind a curtain.
My biggest, if you ask me what is the biggest bugbear about this episode, is definitely that next to the waiting area, they're performing a surgery of such gravity.
I mean, open heart surgery.
I mean, for comedy purposes, they need to have the thing happening nearby so Rick can go in and lean on the person being operated on forcefully enough so blood can come shooting up with a lovely...
Isn't there an organ? Does an organ come out as well?
Too much.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of blood. I didn't really ever enjoy the blood
Well,
gags.
I suppose, there's not often blood showing up in things.
I always found, and I still find, the blood spurts when it's the way he leans down and the blood spurts
gives
up
away,
at the same moment.
like it's the platform he leans on.
He leans down.
An open body.
He leans down, the blood shoots up.
Yeah.
That is always brilliant. What I'm never quite sure about is the way he sort of slaps and pushes Sir Roger Cobblebaby, and the guy's face goes down into it, and then it's covered in blood.
Yeah. It's just a bit too... I mean, I know that it's cartoon, and it's very well done, as you say, like the squirting up of the liquid and all of that. Like, it's very well done, but I never found it funny.
Sure.
Right,
That's what I'm saying. I never actually found that funny. That was past my bad taste.
Can we talk about Sir Roger Copperbogey?
Yeah.
The world famous heart surgeon.
Yeah.
He announces,
himself,
I'm the world... tell me a single heart surgeon, anybody. The world famous one. This is my hospital as well. Like, fuck, this guy's arrogant.
This is why you don't really mind Richie having a go back, do you? Because he is quite arrogant.
Pink scrubs as well, just for the joke of transvestite's opinion.
Did anyone have to find out what the Whiskey A Go-Go was at the time when they saw it?
Yeah, I still don't really know. I mean, I assume it's a nightclub.
I assume it's a gay nightclub or something.
I guess so, yeah. What's he? Is he a GP? No, he's a heart surgeon. And how does he assess that Richie's well? Looking into his eyes. You look perfectly well to me. I don't think that's anything to do with the heart. No, I don't.
Also, could you, before you shove your thumbs into my eye sockets, could you take the gloves off that you've been wearing while you perform open heart surgery?
With bloody blood all over them. So blood goes into his eye sockets. A second or two later, Richie wipes blood over the face of the nurse. HIV AIDS everywhere.
It's fantastic. I mean, I do have to say I like the dialogue very much in that scene.
Yeah.
Like, all the sort of like
have a quid.
A quid.
Yeah.
What? Go on. The old guy in the wheelchair inexplicably for some reason got the out of order sign on his back. I don't know what happened there. But he seems a bit familiar to me.
The NHS, isn't it? I suppose just the workman's just popped it on the nearest thing to the lift.
So that actor seems a bit familiar to me. Is he
really?
anyone? Is he anyone?
He's actually a stuntman.
Okay.
I looked this up, and his name is Nick Gillard, the stuntman who's in the wheelchair, the lift. And I actually, when I first saw it, thought, he must be the stuntman for Eddie with the stilts.
Right. Yeah.
But actually, I think Aid must have done
him,
that
isn't it?
himself. Yeah. So he did all his own stunts, but apparently falling down the lift shaft.
Is there a stuntman for when the piano falls through the?
All I could find was a reference to the lift shaft. So I wonder whether that was actually some sort of dummy that.
Well, he's in.
Oh no, he's in it. But bear in mind, so even if there's a crash mat down there, he's got a wheelchair above him, so they would class that as a stunt.
I absolutely love the guy in the wheelchair pushes back on his hands as he sees the lift open. He holds his hand out to try and stop himself. So that's a level that's
Rick really has to push him.
Oh God! It's like, and after you old timer as well. That's in his mind. That's a nice thing to do. He called anyone old timer. It's weird.
The guy goes down, and is there empathy? That's terrible. That could have been me.
Yeah. Fantastic gag, because that is how people feel, isn't it? When you find out someone else is an actor. Yeah. Oh God, that could have been me.
Now, does that count as murder or at least manslaughter?
Accidental manslaughter, probably. Yeah.
Sure. Well, we don't know if he's dead.
Yeah. I mean, he's in a hospital. He's in the best place for it to happen.
Sure. There we are. That's fine. Right, so then it cuts back to the flat where we spend the rest of the episode, and it starts on the shot of this fucking horrid looking fry-up where things are all piled on top of each other.
I've always thought it looks nice.
Same, yeah. Like, I thought that fry-up, from the first time I saw it to now...
Better than the grill.
I thought this last night as well. I looked at that and thought those sausages look delicious. I know that all the beans are piled on.
Too many beans, yeah. I like the way it slides out.
They've got it all into the same pan.
Yeah. It slides out so well. It's like there's a layer of skin underneath it that kind of keeping it all together.
But also, like, he's clearly been there for days being gluttonous. You know, he's finished off his bottle of scotch. There's empty pizza boxes there.
Sure. Yeah, so what the joke is that Richie's now not having any food or water for these 3 days because he's scared of poison. So Eddie's testing everything for poison. Oh yeah, I'd like to see the beginning of that thing. So you're going to have to test everything. And Richie, I'm not doing that. Oh, hang on.
But also, the point of testing something is so you try a little bit and then the person can have it. But
I had to test all of that.
Yeah. What's Eddie done? Oh, I totally tested out the drinks cabinet. Yeah. Things got so bad I had to test that box of liqueur chocolates we've been saving for our
anniversary. What's their anniversary mean?
What a great line. Yeah. What is their anniversary? I wonder what date it is that they count from. When he moved in, when they first met. But again, it's the wife and husband.
So not only does the food, in my opinion, look delicious, but Ade Edmondson really makes use of that sausage to point at things with.
So he says, I've not had anything to eat or drink for 3 days. Yeah. That's quite that's quite a lot.
Also, he's not been to the toilet in that time as well.
Well, I suppose if he's not drinking, he's not. Even that. But that is fucking. That would explain some weird manic things that he would do, but he doesn't act that manic, really.
It would explain
he should be a bit more delusional.
I suppose he actually genuinely believes that death could come knocking at his door.
And death does come knocking at his door.
He's convinced of it, isn't he? He's absolutely convinced.
And then has to bribe his best friend in the whole world to, first of all, to look out the window.
Just even look out the window. You've got to have... So you know why I can't have a look, Eddie? Be reasonable. And that he's seized this opportunity, hasn't he, Eddie? He's to squander... Not squander,
I can see you reaching for the script book, Paul. Yeah. There's a bit of trivia, isn't there, about this monologue.
Okay.
So what there is here is there is some extra dialogue that, again, I've never seen in the broadcast version or the DVD.
Okay.
Which is in the script book, which, if you want, I will read out the full version for you.
Please do. Go for it.
Okay, so he tries to get Eddie to go to the window, and Eddie says, you go and have a look. Richie's full reply is this: I can't go near the window, you know that. Anything can happen. Suppose some Arab terrorist was on his way to blow up the Houses of Parliament and he's sitting on top of the number 9 bus and he sees me at the window and mistakes me for President Bush on a fact-finding mission. Kablam! Or I might fall out. Or the window might fall in. So all that bit in the middle got chopped.
Yeah, window falling out, falling in.
I wonder whether there was some sort of terrorist incident that they had to... They thought that might be offensive.
Yeah, I don't know.
Arab. Did you say Arab?
He said Arab, yeah.
And terrorist, and of course, what stranger than fiction is truth, because being on the number 9 bus and in London not so long afterwards would genuinely have been a danger.
Sure.
And it must have happened before that. But Arab terrorist, that is quite racist, so maybe they took that out.
I wonder if it got chopped because it referenced the actual sitting current president and therefore dated the show slightly.
Maybe. They did so much, didn't they, with other ones? But you're right, they did mention a few politicians and things, didn't they? But you're right, they didn't actually name Major, did they, as the Prime Minister?
They just say the Prime Minister,
Yeah, but I tend to think it was probably A, taste in terms of should be joking about terrorism, and B, maybe just the length of the script was just needed to maybe chop out a little bit.
So Eddie's bribed by little bits of money to do these chores with him, So not only is he getting all this food out of Richie, he's getting sultry amounts of money, 5p, 20p. I think it's just winning over Richie, which he likes.
Yeah, definitely.
Get some money, first of all, to go to the window, and then a 20p bit inside a polythene bag, sellotape to the bottom of the system.
Well, along with, where the food was, that now is inside Eddie.
Tiny bits of money are hidden around the house.
Weird.
Just
There's
for
little
Richie to find
things
if he needs them.
of 20, with the amount of effort for a small amount of coin. It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you guys think about the Neighbours gag?
Yeah, that's a bit dated now, I'd say.
Very dated now.
Yeah,
and also anyone who doesn't know, Neighbours was shown twice a day.
Yeah, so I guess that's quite a British joke. So that was the soap opera Neighbours, the Australian thing, was shown twice a day. I'm not sure which channel, but
BBC One?
Was it BBC One? Okay.
BBC One, it was shown at about 1:20, and then the same episode was repeated at about 5:30 or something.
Yeah, it was sort of just after the kids' TV was on.
And for some reason, the other day off school, you would watch both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I would watch it. Yeah, watch both.
Yeah.
See, it's a great British.
So different.
It's a great British little gag, that, because obviously the Neighbours theme tune playing it, and it could be any time of day, really.
Yeah.
And then again with the weather outside being so
dark and rainy,
but I just wonder whether any Americans or whatever really get what that gag is.
I guess they probably wouldn't. So then Eddie goes upstairs to check out his ceiling's sagging or something. It's my piano, in the middle of the room. So that's different from the organ that's downstairs then, I guess?
Yeah, well, this is a full piano.
And an organ. Never seen the piano before or after.
You got to think that's probably from Auntie Mabel, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was left...
Well, it's just, that's what's been in Eddie's room.
Yeah, okay, sure. And then he never... Then when they repair the floor to Eddie's bedroom, they didn't bother putting the piano back up there. Sold it for the repair money, I suppose.
And while Eddie's upstairs, apparently moving the piano, but basically just playing on it, Richie decides to try and sell his best friend in the whole world out to God in exchange for saving his own life.
Sure.
And again, back to Richie's Christianity, but when it suits him.
I think it's his first time praying as well. He does pray a few times. It's so casual talking to God. That's so childish and naive. Yeah. It's a sweetness to him sometimes, isn't there?
Well, that's very childlike, isn't it? To decide, right, okay, Eddie's gone now. I can have my little private moment talking to God.
Yeah.
And it's also a last-ditch attempt, isn't it? But then how brilliant that he is trying to sell out Eddie, the evil one.
I mean, the whole setup for that gag is brilliant. Firstly, he's under the sofa for the whole of that scene up until the very end when he gets up, moves to the door, does the line, which is a great line to be paid off, come down here at once. Then in the same shot that Rick Mail is saying the shot in, down comes the piano. Could be a stunt guy, we're not sure. Probably
it's a quick cut after you see the crash.
I had a standout comedy timing moment for me.
Such a perfect comedy moment. Also a callback to the Young Ones.
What, things falling through the floor? The
bed with Rick and Vivian fighting on it comes down crashing into the living room.
Okay. Richie also, when he's talking to God, instead of saying, "Oh, take Eddie instead of me," his words are, "Murder him instead."
See your way clear to murdering him horribly.
And then for him to say, "It's you that's done this. You've been plotting it all along. How could you treat a friend so badly? I would never do anything like that."
After just selling him out to God.
And he's literally just been trying to get Eddie murdered horribly.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just...
I like his little impression of Eddie as well.
Let's go to the fair.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
It's brilliant. It's classic Rick, isn't that? And then don't think we actually see him properly throw Eddie out the house.
Right.
No, you do.
But before this, I mean, or since.
No. Oh.
And then Eddie stay out the house.
Yeah.
And then he's obviously decided, right, what am I going to do? I'm going to play a trick on him.
So this was the instance where if you watch it, if you play it back, he opens the door, throws Eddie down. As you hear the sound of Eddie falling downstairs, you can see Aid Edmondson just kind of rise back up into shots.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit.
A little mistake.
Well, there's always got to be one.
Yeah. I mean, the door flies back open.
Yeah.
It's just how it is, isn't it? That's what you got with the cheap sets. But that's what makes the show so brilliant.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
The bloopers are what make it brilliant. It's part of the charm.
So Richie gets upset about his poker, but then decides to head to bed with his hottie botty.
His hottie botty, and first appearance of both his PJs, his Jimmy Jams, and War and Peace. First reference of War and Peace, I think.
This was the first appearance of his bedroom as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been.
Equally kind of grimy to the rest of the place.
But it's weird, the
and
pyjamas...
I love how his pyjamas don't quite match in terms of colour, so it's like he's maybe got two sets, and he's wearing the bottom half that's older than the top half, and they just kind of mix and matches them if he ever washes them at all.
There's something so cute about him, where he's like, "Oh, okay, with my hottie boy, oh." Yeah. And it's so sweet and nice, and he's in a really nice, happy mood because he's just won over death, I suppose. But he's not ecstatically excited.
He's in a mood to. All right, I'll educate myself by having a bit of a read, and I'll reminisce about what my mum might be up to, and then I'll say goodnight to the world because everything's wonderful.
Yeah,
he's so childlike.
That's what he feels like as he's going to bed. And he's got rid of Eddie.
Yeah.
So he's actually quite happy to have the flat back to himself, which is not what you'd expect, isn't it? You'd think, he'd be missing Eddie. No.
I suppose so. He's got 2 books on the side, isn't he? Dictionary and
War and Peace.
Yeah, which is a great gag, isn't it? Just to, we've been at this a few years.
I love his look when he's reading. Is a look of a nod of recognition. I'm like, oh, that's a good bit. And then
have you ever opened and looked at what chapter 1, sentence 3 of War and Peace is?
No.
I haven't. I wish I had now. Yeah. But that would be interesting, wouldn't it, to know what word it is that he's stumping.
And then before sleep, a gag which, again, so this went out in 91, I'm 11 years old. So at the time, a gag which I don't think I got, and then when I rewatched it older, I got, which is, you know what, I think I might, I'll just go to sleep.
Yeah.
That totally went over my head for a good few years, because I would have been 8, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's just weird that he doesn't. As well. Why?
It would be more weird if he had on camera.
I suppose a good 10 minutes of him just and then Eddie bursting into. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, I mean they've already hinted at the fact that he loves his masturbating, but he's just so happy. Do you know what? No, I just go to sleep. Don't need it tonight.
But he's so he's interrupted by some noises. Who he thinks is Eddie, and he's right. It is Eddie.
Some comedy creaks from the BBC sound department.
He's got his cricket bat ready to go under the bed. It's the same one they use in Gas, I believe, because the handle is bare. It says it's all wood. The whole thing's like grotty looking.
Yeah.
It's not used for cricket. It's used for violence.
He keeps it by his bed just in case. Like, where's my cricket? And everything.
As soon as you see death, clearly Eddie.
I mean, you as the but did you, when you were younger, obviously not now, did you find that bit a bit scary?
It's played with the music.
The music is really quite terrifying.
Very, very ominous music. Also,
and Rick's face.
All right. So Rick's face, and the way he brings his hands up, total terror on his face.
It looks like the Scream, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like that painting.
Yeah.
But also, when Eddie opens the door, there's smoke drifting past as well. Just to give it a bit more of a horror film kind of feeling.
Is it Edward Munch? What's the name of that painter?
The Munch, yes, the Scream by Munch. Yeah.
When I was younger, I actually didn't really like that bit.
When Eddie's telling him that you're going to go to hell, essentially, and Richie's like hysterically crying on the floor. Oh no, because he does genuinely believe he's a good person, and then his point of view, he's
Isn't it brilliant though that even in the moment of like you're going to get thrown into the pit, and he says countless billions naked into the pit. Like even in that moment, he could still find the perviness that he's going to get to see all the people naked.
So let's be English about this, and try and fight for my mortality.
Yeah, because of course a lot of different. Well, I mean, I don't know about a lot, but death comes up in quite a few different films. The idea of playing for your life.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously at that time, Bill and Ted. I don't know which came first, actually.
No. The mentioning of chess, that's from a film called Spanish Seal, which Bill and Ted, that's what that is homaging, But I think Bill and Ted's the more famous scene now, ironically.
Yeah. Well, Richie, first of all, tries to be very British about it by just politely insisting that he leaves the property immediately.
Yeah, sure.
To which Eddie's reply is to throw the phone out the window. Mm-hmm. Smashing the window.
That's right. And Death has still not spoken at this point.
Yes.
As soon as he opens his mouth, I've let the game away there, you sound just like my mate.
Richie stood in the dark for the rest of the scene, but we know who it is.
That's just common sitcom staple, isn't it? The audience being in on something.
Quite like rewatching how much the audience seemed shocked and amused by it as well.
Yeah.
There's a few people who seem to really laugh. It's who did you think it was?
And then making it even more obvious, he asks for Eddie to live rent-free for the rest of his life. And, okay, it's a deal. I don't even question it.
And then the extra bit, which is obviously the copy of Girly World, you keep hidden under your mattress.
Which, out of all the things that he asked for, so Richie is prepared to hand over the £300, but second-guesses himself and think, is it really worth staying out of health? Yeah. And so obviously that leads up to the payoff. Eddie leaving, falls down the stairs. And what's Richie's first reaction? How did you know about my secret copy of Girly World?
Yeah, that's the thing he's outraged about. Not that he's terrified.
Where's Eddie running off to? Is where he's running out the flat, I guess.
Probably to the pub or something.
Yeah, just so excited.
With 300 quid. Well, it's late at night. His excitement is his undoing.
Well, yeah, absolutely brilliant work from Aid on the stilts, I think.
Yeah.
That is
Christ, I've broken my stilts.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah. He looks so put upon and defeated when he sat down. He's like, oh no.
He's like been so happy. And then, but can I just ask you guys, what is Girly World?
Porn mag, I guess.
Is it?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
I really hope it is, because I tried to find out what it is, what they're referencing, because you can find Parade, and that was definitely Gentleman's magazine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'm really worried that Girly World's actually meant for teenage girls. Because there isn't one, there was Girls World.
Yeah.
Okay.
I googled it, and unless it was something that existed in the 90s and now no longer exists, I wonder if they made it up for the show.
They made it up, definitely.
Maybe.
And I sincerely hope that it's meant to be a porn mag.
Yeah.
And not
it sounds like a porn
mag that's meant for teenage girls.
Why on earth would it be that?
That Richie's kind of liking looking at, because there'd be younger girls pictured in it.
Why can't it be both?
Questionable, but it didn't really occur to me. I've always thought it's just a porn mag.
Yeah.
Why has he got that hidden under his mattress and nothing else?
Because that's where you keep your porn.
The mattress was where you kept your porn for some reason. Well, like before, it was all on your computer and it was solid state.
If you've just got one magazine, it goes under the mattress. If you've got a load that will make a bit of a dent, then what you do is you take the bottom drawer out of your chest of drawers, put them on the floor, and then put the drawer back in.
Yeah, I had them under my cupboard.
Okay.
My cupboard, not quite a chest of drawers, but yeah.
That's a good tip. I kept all of my Smash Hits magazines under my bed, not my mattress.
That's some really funky wanking material.
What's Smash Hits? Like pop
Smash
music and stuff?
Yeah, it was all just pop stars and stuff.
Eddie's about to get his head kicked in by an angry Richie, I guess, but then it's interrupted by the door exploding for some reason.
Richie runs down the stairs doing that swinging the fist
Cartoon,
thing, doesn't it? Yeah,
Popeye.
But yes, the door explodes like a grenade's gone off on the other side of it.
Yeah, the bits of wood flying everywhere.
Then it's the Carni with an eye patch now, revealing that he did have the wallet, which surprise, for no one. And it's weird that Harley Street charged £300 to fix an eye.
That's their standard price for fixing an eye. Yeah.
What?
That's quite a lot of money in them days, though.
That's to fix an eye. You can get it on the NHS. What do you mean fix an eye?
Well, I presume it's actually too damaged to just go to the NHS and expect them to do anything about it. So it's
got a pellet in your eye.
Really serious surgeon to sort out. And plus, he's got the 300 quid that they already had. So he's taken the extra 300 quid to pay for that.
Yeah. I think at this point we'll take a word from our sponsor.
It's revolutionary, and only Van Heusen has it. The astounding new Van Heusen Century shirt with a patented one-piece soft collar that won't wrinkle ever. Independent laundering tests prove the Van Heusen Century can take twice the wear of ordinary shirts. No starch, no stiffener, no stays. Yet the Van Heusen Century keeps its good looks all day. Ask for Van Heusen Century, the only shirt with a new soft collar that won't wrinkle ever. Only $3.95 and up.
What do you think of Mark Arden's performance in this?
I think he's good. I like Mark Arden. I think it's a shame he's not in more stuff.
So
Absolutely.
that's the Carni's Mark Arden, is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, he used to be in a double act with Steve Frost.
Yeah.
Who you might know from obviously Blackadder and various other...
Who's he playing Blackadder, Steve Frost?
So he is in the series 4, along with Lee Corns, and as the firing squad leader.
Okay.
Ready and fire!
Yeah, I see.
Him and Mark Arden, in the 80s, they were quite famous for the Carni Black Label adverts. Mm-hmm. I bet he drinks Carni Black Label.
Okay. I do like Richie's complete cowardice coming through when he's challenged by someone of authority or something. It's what he calls him, sir. What a wise choice, sir.
Very wise choice, sir. Yeah.
And then
grovelling, isn't it?
But then offers up Eddie's bollocks as a. Like Eddie's still really defeated and just passively watching what's happening and just looks.
Yeah.
He turns his head slowly to the Carni guy before he kicks him.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
And then, of course, ends on an act of violence on one of the guys.
Yep.
Much like it nearly every other episode. Only in this instance, it's not one of them perpetrating the act of violence on the other, it's someone else doing it on one of them.
So that's the first time that's happened. A lot of scene changes and stuff in this episode, isn't there? Quite busy. I guess the only other one like it is Parade.
But none of it feels forced. I know I've said this before, that in the latter seasons, it feels like they kind of end a scene and go somewhere else, not really knowing what the punchline was in one of them. But in this one, there's a coherent story.
Every single thing is needed to lead into the next.
Absolutely, very tight.
You've got the first appearance of Helen Lederer, who was, of course, on the scene in the 80s with Rick and the comic strip gang.
Yeah.
I think she was in AbFab as well.
Yes, she was. Yes, yeah.
In the PR agency, I believe.
So for you guys, what are your standout moments of the episode?
The piano falling through the roof, obviously.
Absolutely.
That's just number one in terms of the comic timing.
Yeah.
And just the pure brilliance of how they pulled that off in the one shot.
Yeah.
It must have been a real stress for the crew, I imagine.
Yeah.
On set to get that right. And imagine who had to do the clear up.
And in front of a fucking live audience as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely...
well bad.
I love it, absolutely love that. And obviously the earlier bit with obviously Olga on the telephone and everything, like the reverse charges call, and I think they're my favourite bits of Rick being really, really like, oh fantastic, search the body there, and the gold teeth and all that. I think that's a standout little scene in terms of dialogue.
Just one of Rick's lines, which I did mention it earlier, him at the fun fair, literally just the line, get the little duckling. Shoot that cute prize there. Amazing. And again, it's such a throwaway thing, you barely notice it.
Yeah, it goes through a full range of emotions in this episode, doesn't he, Richie? So gleefully happy and so distressed and sad, and it's wonderful. It's very hard to pick out a moment this episode because the plot keeps going at a very fast pace this episode. I'd say just visually, when I think of this episode, I always think of the fry-up.
Right.
That's the thing that kind of stands out for me for, I don't know, for weird reasons.
And you reckon you don't want to eat it?
I would. I'd just a bit too many beans. I'd just scrape a few of the beans off, I guess. Something
I'd really like to try at some point, just based on the description, is a couple of Taiwanese ranch-style jumbo fish burgers.
Yeah, they do sound good.
Taiwanese ranch-style jumbo fish burgers.
Yeah, is that anything that's ever been sold anywhere, ever?
I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I guess stand-up moments, little attention to details of the dialogue of him hiding little bits of money everywhere. That's such a stingy, pathetic character trait of him. Both characters are in full swing here. Like Eddie is taking full advantage of Richie with his ignorance and like, well, how can I make some money? Not much.
Yeah.
It's a nice moment that Richie's first instinct is to share his money with Eddie and have a nice time. That is nice. He doesn't just go like, fuck off.
Yeah, it's the other way around. I don't think Eddie would share any of that wealth with Richie.
It's his first instinct to share the money. The episode ends on him saying, so Mark Arden would have left quite happily with the money, but no, before you go, would you like to kick Eddie in the bollocks?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But Eddie has sort of deserved that,
After that stunt.
Any quibbles or anything you don't like about the episode?
There's one bit I always thought was a bit weird when Mark Arden comes in and he's having a little rant at them. And he's a bit, this stuff in this wallet, blah, 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 it's no use to me. Kind of like my eye. He says the no use to me bit. It's sort of a mumble and it's basically always kind of like my eye as a kid. I'm like, what the fuck happened there? It wasn't delivered very well.
Yeah, he doesn't specifically say this nudie collage is of no use to me or this driving license is of no use to me. You're right. He does kind of swallow the top of the line a bit.
It's a bit messy, and it's kind of a reveal. It's something we all knew anyway, but.
You know what? I'm gonna have a look in the script book and see exactly what the line is supposed to be.
Okay.
Oh, there's an extra line in the. He guesses Selena Scott. When they're playing. He gives her another go. Okay, right. I'm just gonna read this bit out. Okay. Submarine. No. What do you mean? It begins with an S. Yeah, but you can't see one, can you?
Ah.
I see everything. Yeah, but it's. But it's got to be something we can both see. Oh, I see. Changing the rules now, are you? Oh, don't be ridiculous, you big tit. Careful, mortal. Oh, sorry. Go on then. Have another go. S. Eddie totters around the room looking for something beginning with S. Haha, got it. Selena Scott. No, it was Scythe. I win. I get to live. Thank you, baby Jesus.
Okay,
that's all extra.
That's a really good joke. I see everything.
Yeah.
So spraying I Spy with death would be horrific.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. There you go. There was more stuff that they shot. Okay.
And who's Selena Scott?
Also,
probably a newsreader.
I think she's a newsreader. Selena Scott is a newsreader, yeah. Okay, let's see what Mark Arden said. Okay. Well, the credit cards have expired and the driving licence is a forgery. And apart from the nudie collage of Julia Somerville, it's of no use to me, rather like my eye.
Yeah, it's a bit, yeah.
I've never really noticed that he fluffs that line.
So for me, my main quibble with this episode is simply the dubbing. I kind of wish they hadn't dubbed in the word yobbos.
Yeah, just because it doesn't fit that. Yeah, the dub. It's the problem with the dub, really. I mean, I can completely understand the reasoning behind it's an offensive word, but I just wish they hadn't spoilt the episode in terms of... They haven't spoiled the episode. But that moment is, you notice it and it kind of like goes through you every time you watch it. Just because, it should be as perfect as it should, it can be.
So, best sound effect of the episode. There's some good ones in this one. The poker clanging when he hits him on the head. That's good. The stair creaks. But I'm going to give you guys 2 to choose from for a top sound effect of this episode. One is the squelch when Richie leans on the patient in the hospital when the blood flies up. And the other one is the eye squelch where he pokes Mark Arden in the eye.
Yeah, but for me, probably the eye squelch out of those 2.
See, for me, it's the blood.
No, I think the blood. There's a good clang of a frying pan as well when he's finished off the frying pan. Yeah,
clonk is actually my standout favourite. I think I just love the sound of frying pans getting clanged around.
Okay, so I think it's quiz time, isn't it, Angela?
It certainly is. It is quiz time. I'm in charge this week. So you guys have got a chance of winning. This is just for our own benefit, really, but also play along at home. We're doing a 10-question quiz each week based on the episode we're talking about, and we're rotating who is the quiz master. So I did the first episode, Smells, Matt did Gas, Paul did Contest, and now we're back to me to do Apocalypse.
So at the moment, the scores are 1 for me.
1 for me.
1 for Paul, 2 for Angela.
Yeah.
How can that work?
Because we've had 4...
That can't work.
No, we haven't. No, you...
Have I not won any?
Sorry,
no. I won 2.
Yeah, I beat you in our one, didn't I?
Did
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
just
Angela beat me and Angela beat you.
Yes, that's right. I've not
so
won any.
The scores are...
I've got 2, Paul's got 1, and you definitely have to win this week.
Okay, right, fine.
It's...
Okay. Matt, which sound effect are you using for your buzzer?
Right, so my buzzer sound effect is going to be this.
Oh, you're going for quick?
Quick fart.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to go for that one. That's pinched fart. I want to take that.
Pinched fart, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so fingers on your anuses. The first one to buzz in.
So it's 10 questions, yeah?
Yeah, 10 questions.
Sphincters at the ready.
First one who buzzes in, I will say your name, and then you can give me your answer.
Sure.
If you can't, then we'll pass it over. It's 1 point per question. Let's go. What 2 options does Richie propose they do with Elvis? That was you, Matt.
So let's poach him or fry him.
That's correct. Okay, question number 2. When Richie speaks to the operator to make the reverse charges call, what is the area name and code he gives? That, I believe, was Paul first.
Little Piddle 338.
That is correct. Question number 3. What is the first insult Eddie gives to Richie's aunt? Okay, so that's Paul.
Old bag.
That is correct. Come on, Matt.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
Right, question number 4. What day of the week is it that Richie has visited Barbarella's fitness studio?
Wednesday?
It is Wednesday night.
Wednesday afternoon, isn't it?
No.
She said
It's
which
night.
day, though. She just said which day, not time.
But the answer is
But yeah.
Wednesdays, but I think...
Matt, I wasn't trying to take your point away.
No. You're not having the point, Paul. It's mine.
But yeah, I pop along I think Wednesday night, isn't it what they say?
I swear to God, he says Wednesday afternoon.
He probably is Wednesday afternoon if he's there, yeah.
Do I get...
Eddie.
Can I have half of Matt's point?
No,
No,
not at all.
I
The
need
question
all
was
of it.
Wednesday. Question number 5. What name is crossed out on Richie's forged driving licence? Matt?
No.
No?
Can't remember.
Martin Andrews.
Yeah.
That is correct. Question number 6. In the hospital, what time does the nurse give as the time of death for Mrs., I presume, Henderson? And that is again Paul.
6 o'clock this morning.
That's right.
And you've changed sex.
And
Yeah.
sex, yeah.
Let's try. Growing 2 new legs with the first person, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Both
so
these people he's chosen have horrific injuries.
Number 7. What is the first item that Eddie has eaten whilst testing for poison? And again on the buzzer is Paul.
That we see him eat.
No, so that he lists that he's eaten.
Oh, fuck.
So the first item that Eddie says, I've eaten...
Indian takeaway?
That is correct.
That's right, I would have said that.
You're slower on the buzzer, Matt. Come on. Right.
So is
3,
the tactic
2.
buzz in and then guess?
No, I thought she meant what's the first thing you see him eating, and the answer is sausage.
Sorry, what he lists. Okay, question number 8. What does Richie say that Brenda the ball gazer will end up carving?
Elephants out a little dried banana.
That's correct. Okay, and we're up to question number 9. Who does Richie claim wrote the dictionary? Oh, that was very close. I'm going to give it to Matt.
Jesus.
That is correct.
Did you give it to Matt to make the ending interesting? Because now we're even.
Bit. You are even Stevens now, aren't you? You've got 4. And you've got 5.
Okay.
Oh,
so you have to get this to take it to the tiebreak.
Sure.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Where does Richie invite the gypsy to kick him at the end of the episode?
In his bollocks.
In his bollocks, yeah. That was easy, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
Tiebreaker.
It's a tiebreaker, which is always more exciting. What does Richie tell God that Eddie is in order to convince him?
A pervert and a doll scrounger.
Oh, can I give a bit of added...
A foul pervert.
Oh, you fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Matt's got it, yeah. Foul pervert and a doll scrounger. The evil one. Well, that was a very close. That was a very close run competition.
Well, that was very close.
Well, to keep it interesting, that means that I'm now 2 and you are both 1 apiece.
Well done, Matt. You managed to salvage some dignity, but only some.
Well, he was waiting to say that for a while.
It's good fun. It's all good fun. You know, I'm winning. That's all we need to know. Right. Great.
So, next week
will be the episode Sup, which will be the first one to reveal that all the titles are actually bottom something, because this is Bottoms Up is the title.
Confused me.
Yeah.
So, brilliant. So it's a joke before you've even started the show.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Awesome. So, as ever, if you, any questions, comments, queries, give us an email at 11mafekkingparade@gmail.com.
Also, the social media. Everything is at Talking Bottom on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.